Yo, what's going on, guys? Make sure you like and subscribe, man. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to it.
Was Oprah dumb when she was hanging out with that racist? Was Whoopi Goldberg dumb when she was hanging out with that racist? So when did he become a racist? When they told you he was. Was he a racist? And was he a problem for Hillary Clinton when he stood up at Chelsea Clinton's wedding? When he was golfing with Bill Clinton for years? Make it make sense. Oh, and again, this is not me advocating for Donald Trump, but I need to give you an example that you cannot argue. People are upset because Donald Trump's a racist because he took out an $85,000 ad in the newspapers against the Exonerated Five, formerly known as the Central Park Five. Right? That's a problem. That's problematic because he said they needed to get the death penalty. You know what everybody leaves out of that conversation? Two things. The first is all we had was the information that was being presented to us on the news.
At the time.
And at the time, all that information said that we got them. We got these kids. They ain't say nothing about rounding them up or how they rounded them up or this, that, and the third. They set up there and they present. Go look at forget me. Go look at Ava DuVernay's Netflix movie. Go look at all the documentaries made about these guys. Now, here's the gag. At the time when Donald Trump did that, he was a registered Democrat. Not only that, he was a private citizen. Not only that, the district attorney, the assistant district attorney, the chief of police, the mayor, all of them happened to be Democrats. But that didn't stop anybody from dealing with the fact that they paraded them brothers up on that stage at the DNC in 2024 like, oh, Donald Trump's the problem. Oh, but I didn't hear any of them issue an apology for what they did to railroad those boys for a decade and some change. How does that make sense? So, again,
You're right. It doesn't make sense. The only thing that's different now, and I had a conversation with someone where they actually mentioned where that came up because I wondered. I was like, why is it that everybody used to love Donald Trump and he used to say crazy stuff all the time? No, he's no different, but you used to love Donald Trump. And their response was, well, now he wasn't president back then. Like his decisions didn't affect like the outcome. And they use the example of, like pro-choice, pro-life, for instance. So that just kind of gave me just a realistic look into the mind of these people where they just there is a disconnect between what people believe is for the greater good. And that's essentially what it is. Donald Trump is just doing what the people that vote for him want him to do, right? But because that offends a group of people, they go and then they turn on him, and now, oh, Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that, oh, Donald Trump is this. And it's really just simple terms. It's just they're villainizing Donald Trump because they don't agree with his policies or they don't agree with the section that he chose to align himself with. Which in reality, when you look at it now, like this guy mentioned, Donald Trump was a Democrat back then, right? Donald Trump was a Democrat. And what you notice is a lot of the types of Democrats that Donald Trump was are the type that are either conservative or right-leaning now. So all I can say is, what do you expect to happen when you push so far on certain extremes? There's always going to be a correction. We see it in the stock market. We see it in crypto. There's always a correction. Whenever there's a big rise, then there's a correction, and then it kind of stabilizes, and you realize where your new bottom is. But this is just an example of that, and what we're seeing now is an extreme red wave and a rise in more conservative values in America because people have been forced so much. It's like so much of this woke stuff has been forced down our throats that people are just sick of it.
and when you're told that Orange Man is bad, but you're not told that all these blue people who sat up there, who set these black and brown, because there were black people and brown people in that Central Park 5. That's the only way I'm using that term, because I'm black people first. Everybody else holds your own nuts. But black and brown, when it comes to these five boys, You have no smoke for them. Matter of fact, one of the assistant prosecutor,
he said, I'm black first, and everybody hold your own nuts.
is still a huge donator, a huge donor to the Democratic National Convention, Democratic National Committee. So I'm trying to understand how that makes sense. And then, by the way, where's all your smoke for these corporations that were buying $1 million suites at the DNC? You care about black life so much. Why were you okay with them having abortion mobiles a block away from the Democratic National Convention? If we're going to talk about preserving life, if we're going to talk,
y'all really know how bad he's not lying. He's not lying. What he said was 100% true. They are pushing this pro life thing or this pro choice thing. They are really pushing it, and it's like a lot of people. It's just I don't understand how you could be for that. You say you're pro black. Why would you be pro somebody minimizing the or some? Let's just be honest. Why would you be pro someone acting irresponsibly and then therefore deleting human life because of their irresponsible actions? Because that's what it is. If you bring a child into the world and you can't take care of it, or you don't want it, or you don't, or you just using it as contraceptive, that's completely irresponsible. That's completely irresponsible, and you are a part of the problem. And so I don't understand why nobody has smoke for these people. I don't understand how you could be a Christian, how you could be a black Christian and then say and talk about you pro-choice outside of extreme circumstances. Less than 2%. People are hypocrites, man.
Talk about racism. We're going to talk about systemic things. You have to talk about it regardless of who you like or who has the best PR or who says the things you don't like. That's my issue. Y'all know for a fact Joe Biden was a racist. Always been a racist. And the only reason he was vice president under Obama is because they wanted to balance the ticket. So if you put a Negro in there, let's make sure we put somebody who was...
Joe Biden is 100% racist. I believe Joe Biden is probably the most racist president that we've had in modern history, in recent history, I'll say. Meaning the last 20, 40 years. I would say he's probably the most racist president that we've had in the last 40 years. Now, and I mean that. I mean that.
By Strom Thurmond, who eulogized Robert Byrd, who was an exalted Cyclops in the Klan.
Facts.
Oh, you mean the guy who said that Barack Obama was a, what was the word? Oh, the first mainstream, clean, articulate black person?
See, people look, this guy is good. This guy is good. I'm gonna be honest. This guy is good because he's able to point out, and he's pointing out something that you notice. It's those little sneaky jabs that Joe Biden say. It's not the sweet nothings. It's not the, oh, if you ain't black, it is that. It's the, if you ain't black, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Or what, for coming from a white man. It's the, oh, we know that in these disenfranchised communities that, we might not be able to, have the knowledge and the ability to be able to sign up for COVID vaccines. So also, you mean people that are like, people that are minorities that are living in the hood, they aren't smart enough to use a computer. They aren't smart enough to be able to register for vaccines. You know what I mean? So it's these little things. When the video where he's talking about how he used to where he was talking to talking with the little kids. He had the little kids around him, and he was talking about how it's the same video as the Corn Pop story. Corn Pop was a bad dude. It's the same one. Where Joe Biden was talking about how he relate to the kids, and then brought up roaches, and you know what I'm saying, like all that kind of stuff. All these little sneaky things. Where let's go back 30, 40 years, where Joe Biden was in Senate. Or he was in Congress, and he was talking about, oh, I don't want my kids to grow up in a racial jungle. You know what I mean? If we include these kids and diversify the schools, yeah, we're gonna talk about racial. I don't want my kids growing up in that racial jungle. The same person that was leading the campaign, that was arguing that Donald Trump is divisive. All these people. And Joe Biden was one of the people that was trying to make sure that your uncles and your parents couldn't, guess what? That they couldn't get into better schools. Joe Biden was a resistor. In real life. Not no hearsay, she say. In real life. Not no, some guy in the elevator said that Donald Trump only keeps black people out of housing. No. In real life, on real record. Joe Biden is 100% one of the most racist presidents, probably, arguably, debatably, I would pick as the most racist, openly racist president. Going back probably, yeah, at least to the 50s, 60s.
Excuse me? That was okay? Oh, you can't get a Dunkin' Donut unless you got a little Indian in you. He said that. You're okay with that. You're okay with Hillary Clinton being a Goldwater girl, who was a card-carrying racist and segregationist, who also said, we need to bring them to heel. Them meaning you and me, because we were teenagers at the time when she said that, and she was the first lady. So it's racism.
90s was wild.
A problem, or is racism with the right amount of PR a problem? And the wrong type of PR not a problem? I'm trying to understand, when are you not activated? When is it just, hey, this is wrong and it needs to be wrong? Oh, but he apologized for it. Yeah, but his apology don't do nothing for the 30 plus years of racist policies that have affected us. But then again, when you got somebody creating a First Step Act, getting these people out for nonviolent drug offenses, you got Kim Kardashian. And I can't stand Kim Kardashian neither. You got her advocating for more black people than I see black people are advocating for black people. Not making a bunch of noise on the Senate floor.
Facts.
Not pontificating on somebody's podcast. Literally taking their time, money, energy, and efforts and putting it out there. So I'm trying to understand, when is it enough that we hold everybody accountable, not the people they just tell you to like? When do you do that exam? Oh, you won't, because then we go back to great power and great culpability. Because again, you only want to be responsible for the things that make you happy. Was Oprah dumb when she? What? Was Oprah dumb when she was?
I agree with everything he said. This man was speaking straight facts. The truth of the matter is, people they like, it's just a go along, get along gang. There's no other way to describe it. They not it's just, what other way is there to describe it? The go along, get along gang that just literally wants to say, oh, Donald Trump is a racist because we don't like what he's doing. If you don't like what he's doing, I get that, but come up with something more clever, because I've yet to see any real evidence that Donald Trump is an open racist. Now, what people feel in their heart, I can't control that. Black people be some of the most racist people you ever met in your life. So, I mean, I don't know about that man's heart. I don't see it, though. I don't see it. So how could I judge him on anything else? I'm not finna just sit there and just listen to you and believe what you believe just because you're black, or just because you of color, or just because you think you speaking up for me. I'm not some person that need other people's validation. You know what I mean? I don't need that validation. Like, I don't care. Do y'all. Do y'all. I'm good.